So let's look at one act from Pablo Hasso's play, Four Suicides in Search of a Place to Happen. A scene that could actually be happening at almost any military installation right now.
First, a little background about the characters and what has just occurred. Let me briefly describe each of the characters in order of rank. Of particular note, their ages are based on average ages for each Army rank. All are under 30 years old and grappling with the issue of suicide. Staff Sergeant Maynard, he is 28 years old and non-commissioned officer in charge of the unit. He values and takes care of those under him. Corporal Rodriguez, age 24, non-judgmental, unable to see any flaws in people. He is the same rank and age as the fellow soldier named Cooper, who has recently died by suicide. Private Jenkins, age 25. He's the party guy. Harleys, beer, heavy metal. He has been in long enough to make sergeant by now, but he is too busy being the life of everyone. Private First Class Willem, age 22, spends most of his spare time playing video games or on his phone, usually withdrawn, but has been known to have outbursts of anger. Private First Class Murray, age 23. He is the newest member of the unit, likable, makes friends easily, does not help minding others, but he respects his privacy. Specialist Cooper, we only see him through dialogue. He was 24 when he took his life last week. His parents were divorcing. His girlfriend broke off their engagement. He was an avid marksman who spent lots of time at the Rod and Gun Club shooting range, the kind of guy who expected to live the perfect life. And he rarely experienced failure. Now, let me set the stage for you for the next scenario. Enter three soldiers, Maynard, Willem, and Murray, in dress blues. Imagine this. The scene is the day room, and they are just returning from the memorial of a fellow soldier, Specialist Cooper. Of course, we know who died of suicide. During this meeting, each discusses a possible leading motive for their friend's death. Private Willem, he enters first, sits at the lounge chair, takes a video controller, and begins playing without emotion. He seems very withdrawn and tends to avoid the discussion. While Staff Sergeant Maynard enters next, crosses to a coffee pot, followed by Rodriguez, Jenkins, and Murray.
How is everyone? I thought I'd come in and check on you. William, you doing okay? Talk to me, son.
I'm okay, Sarge.
Okay, then. How's everyone else holding up? Mary?
All right, I guess, considering the circumstances. Just stunned and trying to make sense of it all.
Hard to do, isn't it? Soldier with high standards, never had a counseling record, always looking for ways to improve. It seemed as if nothing could distress him.
I don't know. Last couple of times I saw him at the shooting range, he was way off his game and he didn't seem to care. It's as if he was shooting more out of anger than improvement. I should know. I always go with them. So I guess there's that observation if it serves any good.
Oh yeah, he took his training seriously. And you know something? The Army never got to benefit from his skill. It's too bad he was never deployed.
What a big surprise. Willem, where you been hiding, stranger? Haven't seen you in forever. What gives? Still in the Army these days? Man, wasn't that a real shocker Cooper gave us? Rodriguez.
Oh, more than a shocker. It just wasn't like him. What could have gone into his mind?
You all were the closest to him. Anyone track anything about him not being himself? Unusual language? Things out of the blue?
Well, I caught him at a bad time once, and he had watery eyes, the sound of his voice, and tried to hide it, but I told him, hey, something's bothering you. I know you better. Said he was torn up by his parents' sudden announcement to divorce, and it would be the end of the world and the end of his life if they went through with it. My own parents divorced a long time ago. And I talked to them about that. I offered my support and all, and I told him exactly, I knew how he felt.
Did you notice anything else?
No, nothing to worry about. We agreed there was nothing to be done about it. Parents are grown ups and they can make their own decisions. What can we do, you know?
Oh, God. Come to think of it, he said the exact same thing when his ex-girlfriend cut off the engagement.
Really? What do you mean by exact thing? That it would also be the end of his life?
Nah. Might just be something he always says. I mean, he only knew her for a couple of months. Very typical, GI meets girl, GI dates girl, GI marries girl. I saw it. I thought it was, I'll say it, too quick of a move and too quick of a proposal. I'm telling you guys, some people get too lonely, too attached, too fast. And speaking of, Willem, you still following that gorgeous looking high class poodle you met downtown?
Man, just shut the hell up, okay? That was just a one-time date. What do you take me for, Jenkins?
Hey, just chill, will you? It's all too late now. Cooper's gone, and there's nothing anyone could do anyways. Take a pill or something, man.
Yeah, there's something we can do, Jenkins. We can just chill. We can just laugh because, like you say, there's nothing else we can do. So there, we'll just laugh and relax. Happy, Jenkins? Everything's so easy with you. Cooper's dead, get it?
At ease, both of you. This is not the time for the crap, Jenkins.
Okay, I'm cool. I didn't mean to push your buttons that way, Willem. Sorry, okay?
It's all right, Willem. Jenkins was just as much a friend of Cooper as we all were. I mean, we all don't react the same.
Jenkins, sit. We'll carry on without any more outbursts if that's okay with both of you.
Come on, guys, we got this. Show some respect.
All right, Murray, was there anything else he may have said?
No, Sarge. It's just like Jenkins said. He proposed too soon, then she gets orders to transfer. He made his moves too quick, I tell you. I really can't blame her.
Oh, you got that right. I always thought he was very impulsive, never thinking twice about things once he had his mind set. William, how about you? Did Cooper ever say or do anything that caught your attention?
Nah, Sard. He never said nothing.
Of course not. You're never around, and when you are, you're not focused. Games are more important to you.
What difference does it make to you, Jenkins, anyway? Everything's funny to you.
You.
At ease, I said.
Set.
Willem, you'd be playing that thing in a tank if you could hook it up.
Yep.
Actually, I have been thinking about it, and I remembered something. A clue, maybe? I don't know. The last time we left the range, which was the last time I saw him, Cooper just headed straight off post without taking his gun back to the armory like he always did, and I know that he knew better.
And you didn't say anything to him? Or to anyone?
Well, what was there to say? Everyone goes through a slump at one point or another in their lives, and when you are as stable as Cooper was, you don't think to question people about their personal lives.
I can see where you're coming from, Murray, but those are the crucial moments when we have to question the actions of those around us, especially when we know them as well as you guys knew Cooper. We don't always see what's going on inside of a person, but it's those small behaviors that we do see that tell us something is not right. Do you agree with me, Rodriguez?
Now, what would happen if we were on stage is for that vignette or scenario, now everybody would freeze. And then you would get an opportunity to contemplate what you just saw. But as the narrator, I now have some questions for the audience. And I promise there's no math. So we'll all get through this together. It's okay. How are you feeling about what you've listened to so far? What do you think? What are your opinions? I'd like to hear how you feel about what you've seen and listened to. Enter Major Johnson.
Hello there. I am Major Johnson from the Med Group. I was looking for Sergeant Maynard.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Maynard. These are my staff: Corporal Rodriguez, Private U2 Jenkins, PFC Murray, and PFC Willem. I'm grateful that someone has responded to my request for support. Today was Specialist Cooper's memorial, and we have all suffered a pretty hard blow.
That is very understanding. Losing someone to suicide is confusing and painful. It's normal for those close to the person to search for clues, to feel helpless, but also guilty somehow. It's hard to talk about suicide, but it's important to do so. Never hesitate to reach out to a counselor at such a time.
I was just questioning my troops about what we might have missed or forgot to report that could have saved his life.
So in the military, when something bad happens, we're expected to do a post-mortem or after-action report. And actually, most professions have some kind of inquiry when there is a loss. We want to learn what went wrong, but we have to avoid focusing on blame. Better that we focus on what, if anything, we could do differently next time to handle situations like this more effectively. You look very uncomfortable, soldier. I'm here to help, and I can certainly speak with you privately, but maybe by telling us what it is on your mind right now, you can help yourself and your peers grapple with this upsetting situation.
It's about Cooper. I think I might have seen something, but I didn't do anything about it. I didn't know what to do.
Thank you for sharing that, Private Murray. No one can stop every suicide, not even professionals like me. But there are steps that can help sometimes. Do you remember the ACE training?
No, ma'am, I don't know what that is.
Our unit completed the ACE training just before you came on board. ACE stands for Aware, Care, and Escort. I had assumed that you took the ACE training at your last base.
I was on paternity leave and then on leave transferred to this base, so I may have missed a few things in that time frame.
Well, that's okay. Let's all review ACE together so we can be as prepared as we can should we find ourselves in such a situation in the future.
So to clarify, you're absolutely right. The statistics demonstrate that active duty suicides, the biggest risk factor is relationships, just and breakups. That's number one. Second is hazing and bullying, then sexual trauma and toxic leadership, and then alcohol and substance abuse. So when you start to see shifts in situations for people or behaviors, those should be signs. Those should be red flags. We need to all wake up and be aware. So we've taken the liberty of adapting a suicide prevention model that was actually created by the Department of Defense. Theirs is also ACE. We shifted the meaning of the A, C, and E in that anagram. And we have other models that are out there. Sean, welcome.
Yes.
He just headed up another training, and he'll be doing more trainings in collaboration with Columbia University, which uses the ACB also, with slightly different meanings, but they kind of all head in the same direction. And we have some training packages here if anybody would like to take some of the ones that Sean has been using. But we'll go a little forward with the model that we've kind of adapted here. So we'll start with
Okay. I guess next line, right?
slide 23 and then 22.
Okay, we're going to talk about the A part of ACE, and that's being aware and watch for changes in behavior, social withdrawal, irritability, disturbance in sleep, their hygiene, their diet. Look for increased use of alcohol and other substances. Look for suicidal gestures, a lot of risk-taking behaviors. Rehearse. A lot of people rehearse their suicide intents. And look for collecting means to suicide. In other words, a lot of people start putting pill bottles away. They start hiding them, guns, maybe some rope. Okay, and then also you can look for them if they're giving things away. If they start giving personal belongings, especially those that meant a lot to them, that's a pretty strong indicator that the person is probably wanting to commit suicide.
Slide 25. So here is the C in ACE. People contemplating suicide really believe that killing themselves is the only solution, the only way to get away from some unbearable pain. Some even come to believe that they're gonna do their close family and friends a favor by checking out, that they become such a burden. So it's really important to tell them that when you've noticed something, you can say things like, I'm concerned about how much you've been drinking lately. I'm concerned about how you're really handling your divorce. I'm concerned about your irritability lately. I'm concerned about you, like getting in fender benders, like to just state that from a point of care and concern. And then ask, if you see those behaviors, it's always okay to just say, have you been thinking about suicide? People in circumstances like yours, people who are feeling this much pain, people who are becoming so hopeless, sometimes they're thinking about suicide. Have you been thinking about suicide? You'd be amazed how many people will tell you straight up, yeah. What do you think? What else do I have? So now the conversation will begin about, all right, what can we do about that? We move you from there, the C, into E, the Escort. In the meantime, Ring,
Okay, guys, it is always okay to tell someone who is depressed and possibly contemplating suicide that you're concerned, that you would like to help them, that you are willing to listen, that you do not want them to die. So in your program, there is a talking about suicide decreases suicide behavior pamphlet.
it's a one pager that was on your chair about 10 things you can say to someone who's
Yep.
depressed.
So that we already provided that for you.
So remind yourself, talking about suicide does not cause suicide because we are naturally hardwired to live. People contemplating suicide when they're in severe pain and feel hopeless. Simply showing concern and being able to be candid about suicide risk decreases the chances that the person will commit suicide.
Dan?
That's me. Escort. Encourage and guide towards safety and professional help. Notice and restrict access to lethal means. Provide information and offer to accompany. Don't let them go alone. 24-hour hotlines are listed on the back of the program booklet. Military and veterans, you can dial 988 and then option 1. It's the same for civilians, just don't choose option 1. Offer to dial one of the 24-hour free hotlines for them. Do not be afraid to take them to the ER or other counseling professionals. Mental health issues can affect a career, but there's no career if they're dead. Sometimes a pastor or chaplain is a better first choice. And just to segue onto that, that person sitting in the back corner in there is the city or the county has critical incident training. many people have taken this critical incident training. So if you have to call the police, you're going to get somebody, probably her, that's going to come out, not just somebody with a gun and handcuffs. That's a thing of the past.
Make sure to ask for a CIT trained deputy or officer.
Let's add that to our screen.
CIT.
Critical incidents training.
So you know that human contact is the best antidote for depression. Invite them to dinner, to a game night, or to a movie. The period of time when alcohol or drugs are starting to wear off or suddenly stopping some medications can be extremely dangerous for those at risk to suicide.
If possible, do not leave them alone, especially around the holidays or anniversaries or when they have admitted they are thinking about suicide. Do not hesitate to call 911 and ask the police to make a welfare check for somebody who is a critical incident training officer. Now, the police are specially trained to do safety checks involving possible suicide risks, so please reach out.
Let's talk about a really important issue. The means matter. The means matter. Suicide deaths due to firearms or hanging and suffocation are 93% of military suicide deaths. 93% by just those means. And for civilians, it's not too far behind. 79% of civilians who died from suicide have either taken their lives through firearms or hangings and suffocation. We can help prevent suicide by creating delay. And there are some means of suicide, especially firearms and hangings, where the person can't change their mind. And medical assistance is hopeless. Yep. So needs matter, and limiting firearms access is not a political issue, it's a life and death issue. We are not advocating for permanent removal of guns and people's access. That is far beyond the scope or interest of our efforts here today. But at the moment when there is a mental health crisis going on, it is essential to remove the means that are most lethal, and those are firearms and, obsession with ropes and things that can hang us. Pass it to Renee.
Okay, guys, always ask if there are firearms in the house. Ask the person to store them at someone else's house or in a locked gun case, and ask them to have someone else not in the house hold those keys. There are specific locks that can temporarily disable a gun. This is an example. So I work for the Otero Community Health Council, and tonight we are providing you guys, you take as many as you need, they're free. You can get these free from the counseling center as well, and then sometimes even the police station. We have included, Lori,
She's busy passing out.
we have included sources for free gun locks, and this is actually in your program.
I want to thank you all for spending this evening with us, and we sure do hope that you all have enjoyed the program. This is the first time for me working with a licensed doctor. Again, one of the things I wanted to talk about, but very, very quickly, is I did write a play titled "For Suicide, Looking for a Place to Happen." And I was commissioned to do that by the U.S. Army when I was working for the U.S. Army as a civilian. Of course, I had been in the Army before, and I had been in the Air Force after that. So I know the dynamics, the behavioral dynamics, and I had experienced suicide, a suicide. And when I started doing the research, I found out that a lot of the scenarios were very identical. And the 4 that I chose are modeled after real incidents. Of course, I changed the names. They're modeled after real incidents, and it was surprising that as I started looking at data to come up with numbers and ages and ranks, a lot of stuff started falling in place. There was certainly a pattern, and there's a pattern that Dr. Arella presented to me in terms of comparable data, and I thought, wow, that. I'm not saying that's amazing, right? It's shocking, but it was there and it's true. Well, thank y'all again. And hopefully we'll do the show, the play sometime in the near future, right? We'll produce the entire show with all 4 scenarios, be a regular production, and hopefully that will spread the word out more. Thank you.
I have some closing comments as the narrator. I don't know what our time is like, but before we get there, I've only got a couple things on the script. I've worn many hats, this is just one. One of the hats I've worn is as a SWAT commander. So I would tell you from that perspective, only. The psychologist is sitting there, the playwright is next to him. But as a law enforcement officer, if you're dealing with someone who's suicidal, don't put your life at risk. That's what, where's that handout? Did she leave? That's what critical incident training and law enforcement is for.